Hello, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to take a look at that Cummins drill, the heavy drill that I got in the Pennsylvania tool hall. And I know there's a little confusion on how these power tools have the Cummins name. So I did some research. It's not the same company as the engine company. In fact, when Cummins Tool started selling engines, Cummins Engine Company apparently was able to force them through litigation to change their name. And now it's called like Tools Now, or it's something really strange like that. But anyway, these were made in USA, and I'm hoping I can get it working. But let's take a look at it. So here it is. I love this handle. Looks like a Buck Rogers laser gun handle. This one actually still has the pipe on it, but you can see it is, it's kind of hard to read that tag. Let's see if I can. Yeah, maybe after I clean the tag up, I'll be able to read what model number it is. 60 cycles, yeah, I can't really read it yet. It's very dirty. But there's the Cummins name right there. I don't know how old it is. This tag here makes me think it's not quite as old as you would think. That tag looks like 1970s. But anyway, this reminded me that I have not restored yet this Cummins power saw. It's not just a Cummins power saw, it's another Cummins power saw. I don't know why that is a good idea to put on the metal case, but you know, they changed their name to Tools Now. So let's look at what this is, because this, I haven't done this thing yet. I don't know if it works. It was 20 bucks and it's a really interesting design, but I'll save that for later when I have time to rebuild this thing as well. And I'm looking forward to it because it's really an interesting design. And I didn't pack it right. There's always something. But just so you know, they didn't just make drills. Apparently they had a whole line. So hey, our mission first. This cord is shot. It's got several breaks and splits in it and cuts. So our mission is to rewire it. So it looks like it's one of those where the switch comes out from the top, but the cord goes directly in. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws to take out, and we should be able to wire it from there. Well, obviously a metal strain relief, I should be able to reuse that. Let's get busy. This guy is quite dirty. So that's first thing. Let's take the pipe off. Let's clip this cord so it's not in the way. We have a chuck key here, held to the cord with electrical tape. All right. Let's see how this thing is. Hopefully none of these screws are stuck. Interesting that the handle is actually ventilated. That's 1, 2. 3, 4. Okay, handle's gonna come off, no problem. I'm gonna need a tray for these screws. I gotta find one because my other one is occupied right now. Okay, let's see. Pretty straightforward. Two smaller screws holding the switch mechanism on. So far, this looks to be a pretty straightforward design. To dislodge this, we probably have to trigger it and push this button in. This button does not want to go in far enough though. So let's see. Let's get this wire out of the way. Maybe then we can do that. Oh, there is a screw here that's loose. Give me a close-up. Interesting. Inside here. Maybe this is why it would be tired. Another switch problem. See that screw in there? There's nothing holding it on. It's just there. I don't know if that's causing trouble or not. I don't know why it would be like that. Let's see again if we can. Definitely these wires are in the way. Really strange. Let's see if we can get this wire out of the way. I'm suspicious, looking at all the flathead screws, that this is not actually a drill that had a 3-prong cord on it originally. All right, well, essentially my mission is to get this thing out. So let me struggle with that. I don't want to waste an hour of time on the film, so I'll be right back. I thought I had recorded removing the switch from this handle. I did not. Let's just say it was quite a struggle, and I did finally get it removed. But a couple things I noticed. One, it had this screw, and it had this inside. So I believe, and I found this nut inside, I believe that what they had done, because you'll note, there is no ground wire, and this has a 3-prong cord. So possibly they had attached the ground wire to this, which wouldn't be a great way to ground it and might be dangerous. But where that ground wire is, I don't know, because it wasn't there, and it wasn't in this piece either. So unless this is enough room, but if it is, I don't know. So I need a terminal ring. I'm going to put the ground back on that. These wires, these into the switch are okay. These coming out of the switch are okay. But I'm going to mention, this is a newer switch than some of these old drills I work on, because you see, this is not one you can actually take apart. They've actually got it so you specifically cannot. Weird, huh? Certainly sounds like it's going to work. But anyway, so I'm going to have to remove these connectors. And I don't have a lot of room in this handle, so let me get a new power cord, 3-prong, and we'll wire this thing up. This one should work. I was going to use this guy. It's too thick. It won't actually fit through the strain relief, interestingly enough. But let's take a look at this thing. This is a standard computer cord. So I'm going to take the insulation off and probably about here. Not 100% sure. Oh, you know, it really doesn't, I don't have to be that careful with it because I can always push the cord forward. So what I'm doing is I'm not pushing very tight on this, getting it till the black starts to split. Let's see if this is going to be long enough. I probably should have run it through here first. Oh yeah, easily long enough. I'm going to clip this thread. Yeah, so this piece here, I'm not sure if you can see it, this actually comes down and grabs the cord itself. All right, so we've got to clip these guys. This is black. Strip that. We don't have much to play with here. And this is black. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to solder and shrink tube. It'll give me a little bit more room to get the switch in. I found another container of solder flux in a toolbox. So I'm going to do these one at a time, just because I don't want to lose track of where everything goes. Okay, I'm gonna do the same with this guy. This is the white wire, as evidenced by the white wire. All right, I think that is a better fix than what was there. Now, let's get a terminal ring and hook up this ground wire. I'm still a little concerned with hooking up that ground wire. I don't think it should be there. Okay, so we're putting a red terminal ring on the wire. Make sure you can just see where the wire is there so it's grabbing it, and then you're going to use red on the crimpers. Crimp it, test it. All right, now they had this on here, and I guess, who am I to argue? I can just say this is the way they had it. That's about all. I don't know. I think I'm going to put it reversed like this because I need all the room I can get. All right. So let's see about getting this switch back in. I don't know, you know, they have these wires bent beside it, and I think they should be bent. I think all of it should be behind it. Got it. Okay, does it work? Certainly feels like it. Okay, so we got to make sure we get enough here for that to grab. We got enough room so that the switch doesn't get jammed by the wires. And we got to make sure we can put these two screws in for the switch. And I'll be right back. So what I'm using is this feeler to line these screw holes up. Oh, and before I put these screws in, I am going to clean them on the wire brush, because this is a drill that will be polished. So you get to see me do that for the 500th time, or first time if you've never seen me do this. It's very simple. Wear gloves and goggles. I've got my screws here. I'm gonna put some goggles on. Definitely want to wear goggles with a wire brush and wear gloves. You want to live dangerously, you're relying on just that guard. Now I stay behind the guard anyway, but I'll tell you, sometimes you'll see me flinch, and why I'm flinching is these wires shoot off, and sometimes I've found them embedded in my shirt. That's really all it takes. Everything looks good. I am somewhat worried about this odd ground wire. I don't understand that, the way it's grounded, but switch seems good. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this circuit breaker box, and that's on, that's off. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to plug it in, and then we're going to apply power and see what it does. Look at that. Why would that be? We're going to have to take this switch out again. I think it's the ground, honestly. I think it's that ground wire. I don't think that's supposed to be there. This may have been a 2-prong cord, and they put a 3-prong in there. I think that's what's going on here. Oh boy, I'm going to spend a lot of time with this. You know what? I think what I'm going to do is I am going to just cut this ground wire and see what it does. See if it still arcs, because I have enough of this wire. I'm just going to cut it. I'm going to see if that's why this is arcing, because I have a suspicion that is what's going on. Okay, so now I'm going to try it again, see if it arcs. That's it. So, pretty interesting. This is a 2-prong cord drill. It had a 3-prong cord on it. Somebody had wired it and probably made the same mistake I did, but I was really suspicious that that should not have been grounded that way. It just didn't seem right to me. I mean, this would be a better way to ground it. All right. Well, what to do? I guess I'm going to cut this cord way in there and just cap it off. Well, what I could do is just put shrink tubing on it. Make it fit tight. Yeah, that's good. That's holding tight. Okay. Let me put these 2 screws on. So back up to where we were. I really did not want to take that switch apart again. It's a lesson learned. So this drill, I would say, is older than I thought. I guess the giveaway is it's all flathead screws. That's the first giveaway. And it was probably a 2-prong cord. I'm not even going to say probably. It was a 2-prong cord. Now I just put a 3-prong on it, and the 3-prong goes nowhere. That's okay. All right, let's get this thing back to where it should be so that it can grab that cable. Same way, snug, 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 and now we're going to tighten it, tight, 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 tight. All right, let's see the switch. Feels good. Switch lock works. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, since I don't trust this thing, I'm going to use this Again, we're gonna now test it assembled, same process, but I've got the trigger lock on, so as soon as I throw this box, the drill should run. And it does. Does reverse work? It does. Whoa, geez, that's not a good sign. All right, not gonna run it for a long time. We got more work to do. We're gonna clean the motor out and we're going to grease it. Now to grease it, I assume we're just gonna have to take this off. I occasionally have trouble with these screws in front. Hopefully not with this guy. So far it's been pretty straightforward other than the grounding wire mishap. All right, that's two. This one looks bad. Yeah, this one's a bit stripped already. Oh geez, don't tell me we're gonna have that problem again. It always seems to be one of these. Look at the gunk in here. This gunk is hard as plastic. Whether the screw comes out or not, I gotta dig this out because I will not be able to get any penetrating oil in there like this. But this screw is definitely stripped. Somebody tried it before, probably the same guy that wired it wrong. Let's see. There's not much to grab here. Yep, I got it. Well, that was lucky. Oh, that's really dirty. These are all pretty bad. There's a lot of gunk in there. That one's got oil all over it. Probably somebody put oil in this thing instead of grease. This one has oil all over it as well. That's interesting. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen when I try to lift this thing. Let's see. Going to pull the whole motor housing out or what? I want to kind of hold the motor in place. All right. That actually was easier than I thought. Oh, phew. Wow, that grease smells terrible. Oh, there's not a lot in here. There's enough, but you can see this is not great. All right. I'm gonna pause the camera for a minute. I gotta get some breath. All right. Without really breathing any of these fumes, I'm gonna try to dig this grease out. Oh, jeez. It really smells terrible. If you've ever done like a front differential in a four-wheel drive, that oil, that's kind of what this stuff smells like. It is really one of the most nasty smells. There's definitely oil in here. Somebody mixed oil with this grease. Because You can just see it. It's full of oil. I don't really know why they would have done that. All right, I'm gonna continue to clean this out. I'll be back. Okay, I've got the grease out. Before I put the new grease in, I'm actually going to use dry lube. I say this every time. It's not WD-40. It is made by them, but it is great for cleaning out motors. Look at the gunk come out. Look at that. All right, that's it. Leak out. That's a lot of dirt. Now let's get some grease. So I'm going to use this Super Lube. It's good stuff, and I don't need a tube for this. You can just scoop it in this guy. Should be more than enough. All right, I have to go wire brush these screws. Yuck. Yeah, that gunk is leaking out all over the place. What do I do with the fourth one? There are 4, correct? Oh, well, there are only 3. All right. Mugsy's a happy boy over there because I'm working late tonight. He usually has to go in the house by now. All right, I'm gonna wire brush those 3 bolts. I'll be right back. I gotta get some of the gunk out of these. This is pretty bad. All right, snug, 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 and tight, tight, tight. Okay, so I don't want to test this because I sprayed a lot of chemicals in there to clean it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break for the day and we'll pick up tomorrow. This truck is good, right? I just noticed I'm gonna look at this truck. I have a bad truck here. No, it is good. Okay. Oh, that's good. It was just cranked so far in, it looked bad. All right, I'm gonna let this dry out. I'll dump this out. And yeah, take the gloves off. Okay, so far, pretty successful. We're rewired, it runs. The reverse works. It sounded very odd in reverse, but hopefully cleaning it out and greasing it maybe helped that. I gotta check the brushes. They seem pretty easy to check. That's another sign this thing's really old. Look at the size of those screws. Yeah, so we'll be back tomorrow, I guess. I got the mug. He's ready for bed. What time is it? All right, anyway, so that's it for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow, or maybe over the weekend we'll finish this guy up, but it's coming along great. I'll see you soon. Hey everyone, just a brief interruption here. If you're enjoying this content and you'd like to support my channel, and especially if you like cats, I've written a series of chapter books for ages 8 and up, fully illustrated, called Flea Biscuit and Friends. The first book in the series is Flea Biscuit Finds a Home, followed by Flea Biscuit Summer Vacation, and finally, Flea Biscuit's Magic Christmas. They're available at all local booksellers as well as on Amazon.com. I will post a link in the video description. And hey, that's my pitch. Back to the video. All right, we're back. It's the next day. So we're going to check the brushes, and then we're going to start the cosmetic cleanup. Right, Max? I really do want to read John Oster, I think it says. Cummins reversible drill, John Oster. So there's two brushes, one here and one on the bottom. I am going to put some gloves on. We'll check the brushes and then we'll give it a run. Work that grease into it. All right, top brush. Hopefully these come off easy. Oh geez, yeah, that's fine. The brushes are fine. I'm not even gonna bother checking the other one. That brush is like brand new. I think somebody did a lot of work to this and then wired it wrong and then gave up. All right, so we're gonna test it again now that it's all greased and the motor's cleaned out. So we're gonna do the same thing essentially because it is a steel body drill and I have been playing with it. So I'm gonna put a rubber glove on. I'm gonna go plugged in. The trigger is not on, right? Yeah, we're not on. Powered on. And let's see what it does. Now I'm curious, I want to try a reverse. Seems to run fine forward, but it did make a lot of noise in reverse. Nope, nothing. It's fine. All right, so we can clean it up. So I'm just gonna use some glass cleaner to get this oil off. I'm not really concerned with cleaning the body now because I am gonna polish it. But I do want to get a lot of this grease off. And oil. Let's see if we can read that label any clearer. Not much, but it does definitely say John Oster. You can almost read the model number. 336. That's what it looks like it says. 336 Series A, 550 RPMs. Well, that's not exactly quick. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tie this cord up a little bit just to get it so it's not in the way. And then we're gonna clean the chuck first. I'll be right back. Okay, so to clean up the chuck, I'm gonna put goggles on and gloves. I'm just gonna use the wire brush. I already got the cable wire wrapped up, so I guess I won't run the motor. Good. All right, the chuck's cleaned up. So we got a couple other things we're gonna do. We're gonna mask over this tag and this label. And then we'll hit the polisher. I suppose I could take that part off and polish it on its own. This handle's pretty easy to take off. Just take out these two screws. It should pop right off. All right, that'll make this a little bit easier polish. Let me get some masking tape. It's masked up, and so what I'm going to do is before I actually polish it, I'm going to get a bit aggressive with it. I'm actually going to use WD-40 and a wire brush, and then I'll use the polisher. So this is a process I used to do, and you can do this with just steel wool and WD-40. It's pretty easy to do, but this is pretty bad and this is pretty quick. Don't be worried if this looks a little rough, because we'll polish that out. See? So we got from that to that, and it just takes a little bit of time. The reason why I use WD-40 is it is a bit of a lubricant on it, but it's also corrosive. All right, so we'll do a before and after. Wipe this down. Look at how nice that looks already. Not even polished it yet. Just the pad. So there is a before, pretty dingy. And after, pretty clean. See, like, you didn't even notice there's a big dent in it right there. Never saw that before. All right, I'm gonna continue with this, and then we'll move on to polishing. I will be back. All right, it looks great. Really came out good. You can even read now that there is an oiler for the rear bearing right there. Couldn't read that before. So I'm gonna take it over to the polisher. And see what this does. And I'm going to continue polishing it, and then I'll be back. The heavy polishing is done, and so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand polish it. And as I always say, never underestimate the value of a good hand polishing. Wow, I don't know why that's exploding out of there like that. It's usually almost impossible to get it to come out. I guess I'm almost out of it. But yeah, as I say, never underestimate the power of a good hand polishing. We don't have to go too crazy on this drill. See how black that's good? Immediately. With all of these metal tools, you can take it as far as you want. You could polish this to a mirror finish. I don't do that, one, because it's way more work than what I'm doing here. But two, it's not realistic for these. Some of them did look like that when new, but I mean, once they were used, they didn't look like that. If they did look all mirror shiny when they were new, it wasn't for long. This is actually harder to polish than I thought. There's a lot of lines on this drill. put the handle back on. Oh, I gotta wire brush these 2 screws. I'll be right back. I'm getting it all dirty again. All right, on this badge, you can't use polish, but you can use car wax. So let's put a little car wax on it and see if we can get all that the stain off. I use a pretty light wax. I'm just using Meguiar's Tech Wax because that's what I have, because I use that to wax my Avalanche. And you can wax this entire drill if you want to add a coating to it. Okay. Yeah, got some of it off. Yeah, it definitely says John Oster. Okay, so we got a couple steps left. One, I'm thinking about painting this Cummins logo red, and 2 is the pipe. This is not a threaded pipe, so it's not going to take a cap on top. But I usually put shrink tubing on these, cleans them up. For this guy though, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wire brush the whole thing. And then I'll acetone in here, mask it off, and paint. That looks better. Put a little polish on it too, just to get it to match. I gotta think about if I want to put shrink tubing on that. Maybe. All right, so all that's left is this. So I'm gonna get some acetone, mask it off. So I'm going to use Rust-Oleum High Performance Enamel Regal Red. I use this on the that bottom toolbox there, not the Craftsman, but the other one. It's a little darker than like what I used for the the 1950s Milwaukee's. Okay, I'm gonna put quite a few coats on. I haven't done this in a long time, so if you are not familiar with my older videos, you probably don't know what I'm about to do. It's got about 4 coats on it. That's pretty good. And with that, we are done for the night, right, Muggs? We're done. We gotta give that paint a couple days to set, but we are done. All right, well, I'm gonna have to take a break for a couple days and let that paint really harden. I don't wanna just give it 24 hours because I have to hit it with some fine steel wool. But yeah, I guess I'll see you in a few days. Our last step, now that this is fully dried, is to get these letters shiny while leaving everything else painted. Now we're gonna do that. We're gonna use some tape. I'm gonna use gloves. I'm going to use fine steel wool, okay? It's a pretty simple process. You have to be patient though. And I can't stress enough, wear gloves or else you will get little shards of steel wool stuck in your fingers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask off as close to these letters as I can, just to protect the rest of the paint. All right, that's pretty good. We don't have to be perfect about it. We're not painting it. We're taking paint off. Okay, so we're gonna get some fine steel wool. I'm gonna put these gloves on. And you do have to be patient. This process is going to take about 10 minutes. So all you do is bunch it up, okay? And then very lightly, very, very lightly. Okay, you're just gonna go left, right, left, right. So I'm talking about very lightly. Do not push or compress. You're just gonna do this. Just let it ride on top of it. And yeah, after the first few, it doesn't look like it's doing anything, but it is. It's taking the red off the letters. So it's taking the red off the spaces that are the metal that's higher than the rest of it. So you can kind of see already, which I'm surprised it's that quick, it's starting to come off the letters. All right, so it takes about 1,000, as this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So do that lightly about 1,000 times. No lie, that was about 1,000. And I'm going to catch all this loose steel wool here. And you should be good to go. So let's see what that looks like once we take the tape off. And I do have to do a little bit on the edges. I'm going to use the tape to pick up some of this steel wool. Okay, and then I've got a little bit on the edges, but that's quite a bit easier because you can go a little bit more aggressive on that. And I'm at 11 minutes and 25 seconds, including explanation. So it did take about 10 minutes. And you got a beautiful logo. And with that, I believe this guy is done. Looks good. Runs good. So I decided I do want to put a little bit of shrink tubing on this. I just like it. It insulates it a bit and gives you something to grip. Pretty easy to do, honestly, if you have shrink tubing that's big enough. I actually had to get out this guy to shrink this stuff. It just did not want to shrink. But yeah, oh, we got this locked. So we have finished the Cummins drill, a drill that literally stands on its own. Oh, I suppose you'll want to see it run now that it's all together. And I got an idea. We can actually lock it. And and run it. Usually I have to hold them, but this guy, as I said, stands on its own. And it spins so slow, it's hilarious how slow it is. 550 RPMs. Here we go. Pretty cool. All right, so that's it for the Cummins 1950s. I don't know, tough to say. It makes me think it's newer than that, but the fact that everything was a flathead screw makes me think it might actually be that old. But it is reversible, which makes me think it's newer. So if you have any information on this guy, let me know. It is, what did I say the model number was? I could almost see it. Model 336. So if you've got any information on how old this Model 336 Cummins drill is, made by John Oster apparently, let me know. I'd be curious. It's a cool drill. I don't know. I'm wary using these two prongers with a metal switch that fits into the handle that tightly. Clearly it runs fine. I just, to me, I'm like, nope. I don't want to give this one off to anybody and say, hey, here's a great drill. Strong enough to start a lawnmower, but it only spins at 550 RPMs. But it is a cool drill. It looks good. I love the handle, and it'll look good in my display wall. Right there with all the others that I've done. Not all the others, but a lot of them. The ones that I keep anyway go on that wall. So hey, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more content like it, don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. It helps me and it helps the channel grow. We've hit 20,000 subscribers. That's fantastic. So the channel is continuing to do well. And I'll have more content like this. And hey, if you want to do one of these, this one was moderately difficult because getting the switch out of the handles, every one of these that I've seen, and I will state, none so more difficult than that one with the blue cap on it right there. That, I forget what the name of that is, what the manufacturer was, but that had a replacement switch put in it. And that switch did not want to come out at all. And I ended up, once I got the switch out, I ended up actually shaving metal off the inside of the handle to get the switch to set better. But I mean, it's a great looking drill. But again, it's one that I would not recommend anyone use. I don't like the metal switch packed tightly in a metal handle and no ground. It's just not a good combination for me. So anyway, if you did enjoy this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me, it helps the channel grow. And I think we've hit like 20,000 subscribers, which is fantastic. It shows people are enjoying the channel and I'm enjoying doing content like this. So, as I always say, if you have an old drill like this, maybe it was your father's, your grandfather's, or it's something you've picked up at flea markets or yard sales or something, you can restore it if you want to. It's not that hard. It's some basic wiring, put a little grease in it, oil it up, check the brushes, polish it up, and in this case, a little painting, but even that was optional. And you can do it. All you need to do is go out, get busy. Take care.